What's up, everyone? Good evening. Welcome to Dogs Down South Wednesday night. It is our normal weekly show. We're going to be doing a lot tonight. We're going to be recapping Tennessee, the big win against Tennessee at home, the big blackout at Sanford Stadium in Athens. Big win for the Dogs. Also going to look at some more college football playoff stuff. Maybe do a little preview of Umass. Also live right now on TikTok. So if you have TikTok and you do not follow us on TikTok, go to Dogs Down South on TikTok. I am live right now with this crew right here. Man, I got a big crew tonight. I got my man Richman. What's up, Richman? How are you, buddy?
Good.
And I got my man Fish. Fish is back. Fish is swimming downstream as we speak.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's up, Fish? How are you, buddy?
Good, man. Glad to be back.
Good,
After my
good,
two-week hiatus.
Bro, we gave you some vacation. This is vacation time, man.
Yep.
Incredible.
I was in a hole with most of the other Georgia fans.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Got a lot of people joining on TikTok. If it's your first time, make sure you follow, like. We're also on YouTube, trying to get to 1,000 followers on YouTube. So if you have not done so, go follow Dogs Down South on YouTube, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, X. If you know about it, we're probably on it. So really big show tonight. A lot of stuff to cover, but let's hop right in. Georgia, Tennessee, big win last week. Big win. 31-17 in Athens. Man, it was hard for me and Richman last night to refrain from talking about this game. We talked a little bit about the college football playoff reveal. Did it live. So, Fish, hop in, man. Tell me your reaction about Georgia, Tennessee.
Dude, that was potentially a season-saving win. I mean, I'm not really stressing UMass, but, Tech's not going to be a cakewalk. They gave us a good game last year. And, it was huge. And, Beck was a completely different person. He was last year's Beck. You could tell his body language, his, demeanor on the sideline. He smiled the whole game, not just when we were down 18 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a completely different person, and, he was just slinging it. And, the drops didn't seem to get him down. No interceptions, no turnovers, So that's got to be good for his morale, man. I mean, he needs it. I don't know. He's a mental guy, I think. When he's happy, he's great. When he's not, he's not,
Right. Yeah. No.
It's easy to be happy with that offensive line blocking the way they did.
All 5 starters played the whole game, no subs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
what did you think about I was going to ask you, Rich, man, I know you got something to say about Tennessee too, but what did you think about the fact that Monroe Freeling at left tackle? Like, what did you think that provided for the line?
Dude, it was so much stability. I mean, we hadn't had any stability on the left side, and to be quite honest, that's probably been a lot of Beck's issues, because you keep getting hit in the face from the left side. That's gonna mess you up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, he didn't even get hit. He didn't even get a rush.
Yeah. Total of 5. He dropped back 41 times and only had 5 hurries. That's nuts compared to what Ole Miss was able to accomplish with their pass rush a week before. I think Kirby had a pretty good conversation. Stacy Searles probably had a good conversation and said, do we feel like that Carson Beck is really getting touched way too much? It was great to see it. I mean, obviously, it was a shakeup, obviously, because Michael Morris, Ernest Green, a little banged up. Obviously, we know Tate is coming off of tightrope surgery, but I thought Tate looked really good as well.
Tate looked
he looked
great.
a lot better.
He was dominant. He was moving well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Blocking with an edge.
Yeah, I agree. Fish, you think, I mean, what do you think? I mean, we're talking about the offensive line. When it came down to it, though, like, what was the biggest difference besides Carson Beck that was, kind of a Tennessee, as we hope, if we can get past UMass Georgia Tech, was a season-saving win? Like, what do you think was the biggest difference besides Carson Beck?
The crowd showed up, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that was our first home game in what, 31 days, 38 days, something crazy like that. So, you know, the fans were ready. The loss didn't get them down. You know, they showed up and showed out, and I think that was huge.
Right.
But maybe not what won the game for us. Ultimately, I think the offense got it together, you know,
Yeah.
shortly after the first quarter, you know, a little early into the second quarter. They
Yeah.
got it. Like, they got it together. Beck made a scramble to get that first down where he dove into the safety and pushed him backwards, you know, and he got up and he had a bounce in his step,
slammed
it
that
looked like.
safety.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and, you know, even then 2 plays later, he threw a touchdown to Delp, I think, or Lucky in the back of the end zone.
Right.
Yep.
Then him and Ratledge do a little dance, you know, that little where they grabbed each other's arm and spun in a circle, you know, and you could just see it. You could see it. It was, I don't know what it was, man. I don't know what Kirby fed them that week, but they were just different. They were different. They haven't looked like that since Texas.
Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, it was definitely a different looking team. It's a team that had not played at home in 37 days. I think we felt a little bit of that. Yep. That's a crazy stat, man. 37 days.
Bobo called a brilliant game too.
Oh my God, some of those plays,
he
dude.
He had plays where we were lining up. Our tight ends were just beating their safeties.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beating the linebackers and
big time.
He improvised a lot of plays too. He changed them, you know, like some of the tendencies that we've picked up over the last, you know, 5 or 6 weeks.
Everybody was loose.
He improvised those plays, and they were, you could see, man, they're pointing and you know, yelling and pointing and all, and they are going to this spot, and that's not where we went. And I saw that a couple of times, and I was like,
oh yeah, the misdirection was ridiculous, dude. I mean, it was great. Bobo, like I said, he was loose. Beck was loose. Everybody was different, man. It seemed like they had a different energy, like completely night and day different team from the team that showed up in Oxford last week, dude. Like just ridiculously different.
Something else that they did. Normally, we only do zone blocking, and which is where all the linemen block the same direction. But they ran quite a few times where the guard would block to the left, so everybody to the left of the left guard would block to the left, and the center and everybody on the other side of the line would block to the right. That's kind of the way we played when we were in high school. But they don't do that much anymore, and they ran quite a few plays like that, and they opened right up. It was interesting.
Yeah Tennessee played us different than Ole Miss did. Ole Miss rushed 4, dropped 7. Tennessee had 7 or 8 in the box a lot.
Yep.
I agree.
And we took serious advantage of that. Like that helped. I mean, that opened some things up downfield, man. And Beck took advantage. Like Beck had a great game. I'm very, very proud of him and the offense.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like a tight end exhibition.
Dude, it was a play scheme that I haven't seen, as we would call it today. It was a bag that I haven't seen Bobo go into all year, or the capabilities of it. You know, when you look at it, man, tons of people on TikTok tonight, man. Hey, if you're on TikTok right now and you're joining and you're listening in, go to YouTube right now. You can actually do it on TikTok as well. We're talking Georgia, Tennessee. This is our weekly show, Dogs Down South. Head over to YouTube, hit that follow, the like button. If you got any questions, comments about the game this week, please ask. We're happy to ask, happy to have you chime in. What do you think? What do you guys think about? I mean, obviously, we don't want to get too picky, but you know, down the stretch, we got UMass, we got Georgia Tech. I do think Georgia Tech will be a very competitive game, but I think we'll be able to have a chance at having the same atmosphere we had. It's a night game. It's on Black Friday, what we now know as Black Friday. But who does Black Friday shopping anymore? I don't know about you guys, but I don't know, man. I don't have enough. I got too much turkey in me to go out chasing down electronics, man. But but Friday night, you know, a big night crowd. We don't want to look too far ahead because, you know, Kirby doesn't do this. But like, what do you think? Even after that game, even after we had a really great offensive line showing, defense I think showed up for the most part. We had some. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my first thing, I'll jump out there and I'll lay one out. I think we still are looking for the right cornerback duo. I think Humphreys got the PI early, and Daniel Harris stepped in, and I think we felt more comfortable with Daniel Harris if they were going over the top. I think Humphreys Humphreys just kind of freaks out when he gets level with somebody. He kind of freaks out. He's a little handsy. He didn't even have to touch the guy when he had the PI. That was a main reason why Tennessee, got out to a 10-0 lead, 7-0 lead, was that PI. But I think we finally got a decent combo that we liked out of Daniel Harris and then Dalen Everett. What else do you guys think just throughout the game? I'll go to you, Fish, you first. What do you think was something that we still probably need to work on as we head into the last two games and then possibly the college football playoff?
Well, I mean, Dylan Sampson, hands down, probably the best running back in the SEC. But, our rush defense, not even that, because that got better in the second half. The whole team did. But coming out of the gate, now being able to make adjustments is great. And Georgia's one of the best teams I've ever seen at it. Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann, like they pivot really well.
Right.
But we need to come out. We need to, I don't know, watch better tape, watch more film. I don't know. Like, why can't we come out first quarter and make a dominant showing? Go up 14-0, go up 14-3. Have we had a comfortable lead or any kind of double-digit lead in the first or second quarter at any point this year?
Hasn't been our tendency, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to.
Maybe Umass, they can come out in the first quarter and dominate. That would.
Good Lord. I mean, even against Tennessee Tech or whoever we played, that cupcake we played earlier in the season, it wasn't dominant. We won because we were supposed to.
Right.
We didn't win because we just destroyed them.
Yeah, we didn't beat them 60-0.
No. And, if we're going to go up to Happy Valley or, South Bend, apparently, because that's where the committee wants us to go.
Right.
If that's where we're going, we can't do that. You think we can go up to a whiteout at Happy, for Penn State just come out lame in the first quarter? I don't think so.
I think this team responds to what Kirby emphasizes, and I think because of what's going on with the committee, I mean, the committee might as well say, we don't care anything about strength of schedule or beating ranked teams. The only thing we care about is wins and losses and how many points you put up on the board. So you may see Kirby emphasize that. And this week, they may run the score up on UMass. And if we get an opportunity, they might run the score up on Tech. I think he'd like to run the score up on Tech every year anyway if he can do it. So
just schedule 12 cupcakes every year.
Well,
so
that's
you can go
undefeated.
undefeated.
It's going to go because it would almost. I think you said this. It would almost behoove you to drop out of the SEC and be an independent and schedule a bunch of cupcakes.
Why
so
not?
You can get the playoffs every year.
Notre Dame is an independent, but they play an ACC schedule. I mean, what kind of crap is that?
Doing.
Right.
I mean, that's lame, and they get away with it every year.
But yeah, because the playoff committee, the playoff committee has they hadn't come out and said it, but I mean, they're basically implying that wins matter the most. No matter who you win against, they
Doesn't matter
the most.
Doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter if it's against UMass. I mean, looking at one of the worst teams in the country that's not in a division.
Yeah, UMass has played a pretty tough schedule this year.
That's not going to put the 12 best teams on the field for the playoffs.
Nope.
That's
I think we still have a committee that wants to make people happy.
Yeah, I think so too. Like they're trying to appease somebody, like who knows who, but like, can you honestly look me in the eye? Paul Feinbaum said this today. Like, there's like several coaches on the committee, and like, can any of those guys, any of them, look you in the eye and tell you without laughing seriously that Indiana, Miami, or Penn State even is a better team than Georgia?
Right.
I mean, really? Do they watch the games? Honestly.
Well, it looks like they're trying to play this thing where if 4 SEC teams are in the playoffs, 3 of them are going to have to go up north to play.
Yep.
And That's kind of what it looks like to me.
Yeah, still a lot of football left though.
That is true. There's a lot of football left these next 2 weeks. A lot could happen.
It's not going to look like it looks now.
Yeah.
I mean, the SEC's probably not done shredding itself.
Right. You guys forgive me. I'm trying to maneuver around. I actually now have you guys to where your answers and everything are now live on TikTok as well. So now our TikTok users who's flooding in, if you're joining right now, I mean, we're at probably bigger rooms than we've had in here in TikTok right now. So welcome dogs down south. We're just talking playoff implications. I think we can look at the Georgia-Tennessee game. I think we can learn a lot from. I think defensively we can learn a lot from how well the second half. When you look at the second half, to me, and that's where I think the biggest difference in our defense was the fact that you went in 17-17, and you didn't. I don't think we thought that the offense wouldn't show up the second half, because usually the offense does show up the second half. So we knew
when they make their appearance.
Yeah, if the offense could show up like it normally does in the second half, the only thing you had to worry about was Tennessee doesn't normally give up more than 16 points to any team this year. So you're like, Are we done? So like my thing, and I might have texted it to you guys in the group chat, was we need to come out and not let them score again in the second half. And I'll be damned if we didn't, And then we added to it, which was very, very impressive. But I think what we learned was something that continuously worked for us. We kind of went back. We didn't just stick to the Texas game plan. I think we did that against Ole Miss, and we got ripped apart on it. We were okay trying to mix the defense up. We showed them some zone. We showed them some man. We showed them some 2 deep, some 3 deep. We did come in the box a little bit. We played at 8. We put those guys in the box. We really did a great job. And I think this is going to help our defense tremendously when it gets towards Tech in the playoffs. We disguised a lot of great coverages, man. Nico was very confused in the second half.
We played everything. I mean, they pulled everything out. I mean, it was every kind of coverage. I was like, holy mackerel, what are they doing now?
Yeah. I mean, exotic blitzes.
There was one play where the linemen and the linebackers in the secondary were all bunched up right before the play.
Yeah.
And there was no way Nico was going to be able to read that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like they were just daring him. It was very unusual.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
Nico was uncomfortable. Nico was very uncomfortable. So, here's a question I got. It's a fun question tonight. So now, is Carson now, is he more a part of a running option? Does he have options now going forward? As far as, because I mean, I think we all heard the whole statement, Carson got a call from, Kirby during the beginning of the week and said, look, Bobo's got you, he's got you into some design PIs, I'm sorry, RPOs. And he's got you in some design run plays. Like, are you okay with this? Are you good? And I don't think Kirby's asking for his permission. I just think he's trying to get his, look, you don't want to go into that game. We all know that Carson Beck has had enough to deal with as far as social media and some games with some picks and some games where he wasn't at his best. And so I think when you start looking at it, you don't want Carson Beck to come into this game worried, So it's like, look, I got to know you're coming in knowing, look, you're going to do whatever it takes for the team, right? And of course, Carson was all on board. And I mean, I think everything changed when he ran that guy over about 10 yards from the goal line. That's where things changed for me.
Yeah.
What do you think, Fish?
I think that Carson Beck could be dangerous running the ball. Of course, I don't think we're going to see him run it next week, this weekend or next week, unless it's a situation maybe in the Tech game where we absolutely need something.
Right.
But I don't think we'll see that. But I think going into the playoffs, if he's got to run the ball 3, 4, 5 times, I think he's going to do it.
Right.
And he looked like a fullback, man, and he's pretty fast.
Yeah.
He slammed that safety. So I was impressed. I mean, I thought it definitely added something to our offense that we haven't seen.
Yeah. Fish, what do you think about that? You think Beck's now you can't call him a dual threat. Maybe he's a maybe threat every once in a while.
He's got a long stride, man. Like when he gets going, like his quickness isn't great, but once he gets a couple of steps, he starts moving because those strides are
Once he gets going, he's like a
so long.
train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but again, at the same time, be careful.
Yeah.
Slide maybe, But that play when he put his shoulder on that into that dude's chest, that changed a lot of the game. I think that gave
Dude,
us
that
the
got
momentum
everybody
we needed
fired
to
up.
go down there and score on that drive. Because if we punt that ball to them, Tennessee's been moving it on us at that point. So if we punt the ball back and they ride down and they score a touchdown and go up 17-0 or 13-0 with a field goal, then who knows how the
Right.
game turns out. You know what I mean? So I'm glad he did it. It was scary. I was holding my breath. I was glad he got up and was jumping up and down, and he was crunk. He
Right.
wasn't, oh my God, 'cause but if it's something that he can do to get us some yards, get us some points, man, I'm all for it.
Right. Yeah. I agree, man. I think with people just knowing he can. That was a great scouting report for him coming off of that game, because now, I mean, guys, I don't know about you, but like if you were to scout that game defensive or offensive wise, we didn't stay in one thing much.
Nope.
We didn't. I mean, it's going to be hard for Georgia Tech and UMass to really say, I feel like they're going to do this. And I think we learned a lot from Ole Miss. I think we learned a lot from, even when you go back to the Florida game. I think what we found out is we probably got there Monday morning and somebody mentioned, like, hey guys, are we getting a little bit too predictable here? We said it. I mean, we're like, look, can we just, I get that some of these plays work, and I get that we know, I mean, I trust these guys. I trust Bobo. I trust Schumann. I trust Kirby. I think we are finally starting to see this young secondary come together. I think we're seeing, some of the coaches that we brought in finally kind of getting to them, and they're getting some things underneath their skin that's really going to be good and help us a lot as we get towards the playoffs. But like at the end of the day, man, like we were getting predictable. We were getting predictable on defense. We were getting predictable on offense.
Yeah.
And we were very, very versatile. There were some plays. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'll take you back to a play that caught me off guard. I think it was first down. We were probably 4 or 5 minutes on the clock. And I'm thinking we're lining up after the timeout. We're running the ball. Like we are now going to run clock. And I think Kirby and everybody said, look, we put the second touchdown on the board. We kill this game now. And I don't know if you remember the play action to Urasek where he was left side of the line, and we play action left. He came all the way from around left to right. Carson rolled, hit Urasek. He was wide open, man, and he got to the 1-2 yard line. That set up Frazier for that touchdown.
Yeah.
That's not typical Kirby right there. That's not typical Kirby.
No.
That was different for us. Normally, typical Kirby is like, we're up by a touchdown. I'll take a field goal here.
Yep.
I'm willing to snap it 3 times, get no yards, kick a field goal. We're up.
I was on that particular play. I was sitting there thinking it was going to be a run and a kick. I was thinking the same thing you were thinking. And I was surprised quite a few times with the offense because of the play calling. I mean, it was just aggressive.
Yeah.
And it was creative. And I was kind of getting where I was expecting everything to be tentative.
Yeah. Before we get off Tennessee, obviously ETN, Dylan Bell. Good news is I heard that Dylan Bell is no surgery. It's stable. That's the first time I've ever heard an injury called stable. It was right? Okay, the leg is living. It's stable. It's not.
It's alive.
So good to hear. I'm thinking these two guys definitely don't touch the field this weekend. I'm thinking when Kirby's saying we hope to get them back, he's saying very, very, very much so a maybe for Tech. But I think the long goal is if we can get past UMass and Tech, the long goal is we really need to have them back by first round of playoffs on the 20th.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see them against Tech unless we absolutely need them.
Oh yeah.
I think they'll dress maybe if they're good to go. They'll be like a Michael Morris was and a Tate was the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
They were
there if you need them.
Yeah, there if you need them type guys. So it'd be nice to get them back. I know I heard Kirby when he was talking about ETN. He was like, I don't even really know what happened. Like Kirby said it. He was like, all I know is that I don't think they didn't think it was the Florida game because he came back and he was practicing.
Yep.
And they're thinking it was non-contact, still around that rib cage.
Yeah.
And non-contact. And then he was fine at one point and he wasn't the next.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. Kind of disheartening, but
a little bit.
But
Nate Frazier, though, Nate Frazier's doing his best, man. He's out there trying hard. He runs with purpose.
Number 33 didn't look too good.
Chauncey Bowen.
Chauncey, he looked like a freshman.
Yeah. I think that was just, I think when you look at what plays need to be called in what situations, I think we knew right there we were going to, maybe when we had some zone read possibilities on first, second down, you bring Chauncey in, give Cash a little breather, and see if he can. I mean, there was one run where he kind of got us a nice 7-8. He's a bigger back, right? I was curious that we didn't see Dwight Phillips. I mean, obviously, when Dylan Bell went out, a lot changed. I mean, I'm sure that Dylan Bell was in a lot of looks that night.
Nitro Togo got some touches.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you think, Fish, especially with Cash out, like Dylan Bell was probably going to be touching the ball?
I thought so too, but I'm kind of glad they didn't because he can do it, but don't want to overuse him or overextend him, and he ended up getting hurt anyway. But that's not why,
right?
But we won't see them again until the playoff.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah. Obviously, game this week, UMass at home. The cool thing is we talked about this Tennessee game was we said, I think for us, we all said, UMass and Georgia Tech, for these seniors, these games have to mean something, right? Senior day coming up for Tech against Tech.
They moved Senior Day to UMass.
Okay.
Yeah, Kirby would rather go ahead and do it for them because he knows Tech is going to be a game where everybody needs to be focused.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's a good pickup right there. So Senior Day this week then. But once again, we talked about it, like it needs to mean something. And obviously it still means something, but for these seniors, I think it's been a long time since these last two games of the year didn't mean anything, right?
Yep.
So that would have obviously been crazy different for us. But UMass, obviously, as I was looking at some of the guys on the UMass team, I was going to kind of break some things down, but then I was like, not that I'm overlooking that, but I think it would be more ample to use the time to talk about. We're not the coaches and we're not the team, so us looking ahead is we can do that, right?
All right.
So, obviously, UMass is going to come in very troubling times for UMass. They're on to their next coaching search right now. So
they were a field goal away from upsetting Liberty this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. The quarterback there, I can't pronounce his name, but really, he's probably what they are going to bank on a lot. He's got really dual threat quarterback, pretty good arm, pretty good legs. Just depending on how, disruptive we can be with him. But, UMass coming in 2-8, their offensive coordinator will be running the show because they fired the head coach right before Georgia.
Yep.
So this is a big deal for this offensive coordinator. He obviously wants to come in and make a name for himself, and maybe he can, show that maybe he's up for the head coaching position. So we definitely don't want to overlook him, but I thought it'd be cool to look at, what do we want to get from this game, right? I have a couple things on here. Like one thing for me is I think honestly we need a good showing. We definitely don't need any question marks for the playoff committee with UMass, right? No. We definitely don't want to be going down to the third and fourth quarter having the starters in and trying to hold off a UMass team for this playoff committee because we all know they're looking for some reason to get some SEC teams out of here, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Big Ten guy leading the way, man.
Yeah. What about you? Rich man? Like I have good showing down for myself. What do you think? What do you think we need to get from UMass?
I really would love to see us put, like 30-something points up in the first half and let Beck run a few series in the third quarter and then start subbing some people in.
Let Gunner get some snaps.
Get Gunner a few snaps. Or, or just
maybe
light them up.
Rashada or Puglisi, who knows?
If you want to keep Beck in there, just light them up, and put 70 on the board.
Well, let's go score 21 or 24 in the first half at least.
Yeah.
At least. Let's get a touchdown in the first quarter. Have we scored a touchdown in the first quarter of any game this year? See, that's something I feel like we would know, or we
Right.
should know. And if it has happened, it only happened once or twice, and maybe it hasn't happened since Tennessee Tech.
The thing is, man, is we've also, I feel like I like what both of you guys are saying. I feel like we were notorious for taking our foot off the pedal too early. I mean, I think we had the starters out at Mississippi State way too early, right?
I've always been critical of Kirby on that because my reasoning behind that is what happens when you get a shootout,
right?
And you've never put 55 up against anybody,
right? Can you keep the pedal down?
I mean, it's good to put some points up on the board and so that the guys know that they can do it if they get in a shootout.
Yeah.
Plus,
I think we all.
It looks good for this committee.
Right.
Yep.
I think that's a big thing. We need a good showing. This committee is just dying. We're going to talk about it in a second. They're dying to just rock the world with these picks. I think we talked about Gunner. I think we need to see some consistent play calling to last week. I definitely don't want to see some total reverse of what I saw play calling wise.
No regression.
Week. Right.
Yeah. No regression.
I agree.
Yeah. And for the team, I think what's very key is that we, I think in practice, I think our practice mentality is good. So I think you can kind of level with them about if we can look at some tech this week. Now, Kirby will never admit to the public that he looks ahead. It's just a thing where he doesn't want his players to be comfortable or the fans to be comfortable with knowing him that he looks ahead. But I do think when you look back at some of these games, we had to, right? When you're looking at the schedule we play, which is some people have us at 2, some people have us at 1. I don't really care. We have the hardest schedule in the country. So be it. And it's on the road. We've had one of the hardest schedules in the country.
That's why it's the hardest schedule. That's why. That's exactly.
And it's on the
why.
road. But I think we had to look ahead to some of these games. I think Mississippi State, I think looking ahead to Texas, you can see where some of the pieces were together for Texas.
Yep.
And for myself, man, we are. I think we can all agree that we are 0 overlooking Georgia Tech. We are not even close.
Not after last year.
Yeah.
And they just beat Miami too. So
right.
If Haynes King plays, if he's good to go, if he's healthy, man, they're a different team when he's taking the snaps.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, obviously, we get to talk about the college football. I mean, I don't think last week I didn't even bring it up because it didn't matter. We had to win, right? We had to win to figure out where we were at. Right. I think this week though, I just want to hear your thoughts on. I mean, I'm going to go through. I did this last night, but I have my unbiased top 12 is a little bit different than what they have. I think I have it in your notes, guys. If the picture didn't show up, I'm sorry, but I have the, what the playoff committee picked. Obviously, their 4 conference champions are Oregon, Texas, Miami, Boise. That's how I had the top 4. However, I had Alabama. I will say this. I made some confusing things because I forgot that I was picking for the week. So I think mine would look very similar, but I will tell you futuristically, and I'd love for you guys to chime in on this. With all the stuff going on with the SEC, what do you guys think? I mean, you guys take turns on this. What do you guys think the probability of actually seeing Texas in the SEC championship is? Is it good? Is it not so good? Because Texas has Kentucky this week, and Texas has to go to Kyle Field and play a night game there after eating a lot of turkey. You guys chime in. Do you guys see Texas as the team going to the SEC championship?
I think Texas is going to drop one to A&M. A&M's had 13 years to build up this anger, and they're not happy about Texas coming in.
Right.
And I think it's possible.
What do you think?
Texas hasn't played anybody really great, and they haven't played well at all against competition. That's for sure.
Right. Vanderbilt is legit their hardest game, their toughest opponent that they've played best record besides us that
Right.
they played this year. We went in there, we smoked them at home. Okay.
Right.
They went on the road to Nashville and they almost got beat. So they don't have a quality win. They're right there sitting there with Indiana and Miami and Ohio State doesn't. Well, I guess that Penn State win is credible, but anyway, I don't have a lot of respect for Penn State or James Franklin. That's beside the point. Indiana, they don't have a bowl eligible team on their schedule besides Ohio State.
Right.
They're getting and so if they lose, they need to drop out. See,
Right.
gone.
Right.
They don't. They need to give that spot to somebody else who's actually played some teams. Bama beats Mercer, jumps up what 4 spots.
Yeah,
We beat a top 10 team and we move up 2 spots.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
it make sense. The math ain't mathing, as whatever you want to say. But I
think
don't
it's all
know.
hodgepodge, man. I don't think they care what it looks like. I think they're just in there arguing, and I think this guy, Manuel or whatever, I just think he goes there and goes, "This look good for this week, guys," and they're like, "Yeah, it'll work," because they know it's not going to be the same next week.
It's not. I mean, a lot of this is going to work itself out. But Texas, I think has maybe a little more talent. They're just not as good. I don't know. Maybe Quinn Ewers isn't as good as advertised. They did go to the playoff last year, but they did get beat by Washington. But it was a kind of a close game. They didn't lose a lot. They did reload. I don't know. I think they're getting the benefit of the doubt a lot too.
So
really
Ted,
do.
let me ask, so you think A&M beats Texas and goes to the championship with Alabama?
I think so too. I think so.
Well, let me ask you guys
What
this.
happens if Bama drops to Auburn?
Georgia's in.
My wife has one of the best nights she's had all football season.
Well, Bama, we don't need to be in, so Bama needs to.
If Bama drops to Auburn, then Georgia essentially is in.
Yeah,
If I'm not wrong.
And here we go. They're talking about it. They've been talking about it. They've been talking about it. They've been talking about it since last May. Why are they going to punish a team
They will.
for getting a third
Especially
loss?
an SEC team, they will.
Even if it's a close game, let's say Georgia Bama play again and Bama beats us by 3.
I mean, we got punished last year.
I know, but
What
because
makes you
of our
think we
weak
wouldn't do it?
schedule. But this year, the weak schedule doesn't matter. It's not consistent. There's 6 new people. There's 6 new heads in there. There's 6 new opinions in that room now with a different chairman. Whoever is making the final decision, I don't know how unanimous any of this is. Who knows? They're so secretive about it.
They would be better off having some old fat bald-headed guy in Vegas in a dark room smoking a cigar, drinking a bourbon, who's never been to college but knows things to do this.
That's how you put that comment in Ultimate Dog.
I mean, it would be the same. I mean, it would. You're right. I mean, and who knows? Because obviously the criteria isn't what it should be. I mean, they can't be watching the games. I don't care what they say. I laugh. You can ask my wife. I mean, but I laugh. I laugh out loud every time they say, "Yeah, we watched the game."
When he said that, we watched the film. I laughed.
Like, okay, man, whatever, man. Just
there's no way. So you look at this. So, well, first off, before we do this, Richman, I'll go to you first. Who do you got in the SEC championship? Like, who do you think? We're not talking about. I know we can speculate who's going to beat who, and we're going to pick the game, so we'll be able to kind of get some context on that. But
I think it's going to be Bama and A&M.
Ooh. So wait a minute. So you're saying, so if remember this now, and I don't know if this can happen, but if Texas beats Kentucky, they still have 1 loss. If Texas loses to A&M, oh, you're right. It's Texas A&M and it's Bama, because we'll have the head-to-head on Texas, but Texas A&M still gets in because it only has 1 SEC loss, correct? So Texas A&M and then Alabama has the head-to-head.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it, I think. It's crazy too. I mean, who knows? And
Who do you got, Fish? Who you got going to the SEC championship?
Hopefully not us.
I don't think
But,
they're going.
but I mean, just because I want to win these next 2 games and just cruise in there. I want that 3-week break.
Right.
You know, I don't want to go chant. I don't want to test the water.
you want
I
to be
don't wanna-
happy. You want to be happy in the valley.
Exactly. I don't want to put this in their hands. We need to win our games and just. I don't want to give the committee full control over our path. You know, I don't. Because I know what'll happen. I mean, there'll be 11 Big Ten teams in there if they had their way. I mean, I think so, and Boise State.
So you got
Bama A&M. Hope is what I think.
so both of you have upset.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Auburn next week.
Well, I mean, even if Texas ends up in the playoffs, Bama, I think beats them. I believe.
Yeah, but guys, if Bama loses against Auburn and A&M beats Texas, that's Georgia. That's Georgia A&M in the SEC championship.
What if Auburn beats A&M and Texas, and Auburn beats Bama? I mean, A&M. Auburn beats A&M beats Texas, and Auburn beats Bama. Is that Georgia. South Carolina?
No, it's Georgia Ole Miss. Georgia
Ole Miss.
We can't do this.
No, but it's Georgia Ole Miss, and you don't want that. Like
Nope.
you don't
We
want
need to
that.
just stick with Bama and Texas or Bama and A&M, and we don't need to go anywhere else.
It's definitely only. I mean, only way Ole Miss creeps in, they have to have a lot happen. They have to have a ton happen. They have to have.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, here's the thing: for Georgia, the fact of the matter is that all that could happen, and Georgia can. I'm just telling you what could happen. You know, Georgia could lose to UMass. They're not going to do this, but they could lose to UMass. They could lose to Georgia Tech, and all that could happen, and they still go to the SEC championship, right?
Make the playoff.
And we'd have to win the SEC championship to get.
Now, I will tell you this: if for some reason Georgia drops the Tech, if for some reason, then Georgia will want to be in that SEC championship game. They will need.
That'll be our only path to the game.
That'll be our only path is win it.
Yep.
So that is. I mean, some people say, well, if you use the Tech, is there hope? Yeah, there's still hope because Georgia has to get in the SEC championship. They have to win. And they have to be the SEC champion, and then they get a bye. So a lot of people will look and go, well, you know, if Tech beats Georgia, they're out. Not necessarily.
That's true because it could get super convoluted, and it may.
And Saturday's
very well may.
We all know rivalry Saturday is crazy.
Playoff.
I mean, we get to look at it from the outside in. We get to play Friday night, hopefully beat Tech, play Friday night, and we get to watch all this crap go down Saturday. Rivalry Saturday is always crazy.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be crazy. I love moving this game to Friday night.
I do too.
Watching all this happen.
I'm glad they put it back on Fridays. I remember being a kid on Black Friday watching those games at my aunt's house in Smar. Man, so much fun.
Yeah, so here's what the college football playoff has. They have one Oregon, and this is just this week. They got Texas at 2, obviously thinking right now, they're just going off of if they had to do it right now, Texas would win the SEC. They got Miami at 3. They got Boise at 4. They're saying Boise, we said this last night, Boise is the best. What are they calling it? It's the 5. What is it? It's not the Power 5. What is it called?
It's
the 5 team, the other 5 teams.
No, it's something.
So the other 5, we'll call it the other 5. Don't care. So they're saying Boise because they're saying no matter if it's BYU or Colorado that wins the Big 12, that Boise is going to be ranked higher in the AP, which they go to if that happens. So Boise plays this Mountain West Conference and gets a bye the first week. That's hilarious. There's problem 1 with this playoff.
Hey, I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Colorado's winning the Big 12.
That's what I will tell you. That's what I have. But I do see Colorado coming in as a 12th team and not not the 4th.
Well, yeah, because they're ranked, I think, 17th right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, the next teams they have is Ohio State at 5, playing BYU at 12. They have BYU, I guess, this week slipping in there and saying they're the they're the Big 12 champion. Although I didn't see BYU playing well at all
No.
against who they played last week.
Kansas. Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas. And then Kansas, you need to check out who Kansas plays this week.
Nobody
Colorado.
Nobody wants to play Kansas right now.
Yeah,
that's true.
at home.
And nobody wants to play South Carolina right now either.
No, I got South Carolina as one of my first 3 bubble teams out. 8 and 9 Notre Dame. If it was done today, Notre Dame would have Alabama coming to visit them in South Bend, and you would have Indiana. Ole Miss would be going to Indiana, and Georgia would be going to Beaver Stadium.
That's right.
But I noticed this last night.
After the SEC sweeps that, they're going to try to abolish football.
You're right.
Yeah.
They'll say this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Here's my thing.
This Michigan
If
AD
Penn
doesn't want to see
State-
that.
If look at this right here though. If Georgia goes and beats Penn State, look who we get in the Sugar Bowl. Miami.
That's a win.
Give me a bye without saying you're giving me a
That's
bye.
a dub.
I'm praying for that. I'm praying for that track right there.
I mean, if you look at the 3 teams, I mean maybe Boise, but if you're looking at the two out of the 3 teams that you would want to play, you wouldn't want to, not yet. You wouldn't want to touch Texas again, and you wouldn't want to touch Oregon, or let's just say, well, there's nobody else that can really go there. Maybe you'd say Alabama there. Like, I don't want to touch Alabama right there. I'd play Alabama again for the national championship.
Right.
Because you want to see the best game in the national championship.
I don't care if Michael Irvin and Gino Torretta and Frank Gore and whoever else shows up. Ain't no way Mario Cristobal is out coaching Kirby Smart.
No. They can bring back, I mean, yeah. They can bring back Vinny Testaverde, bro. I mean, I don't.
Anybody,
bro. I mean, what was my boy? Who was my boy? Jimmy Johnson, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Vinny Testaverde,
Ed
Jimmy
Reed.
Johnson, Ed Reed. Yeah, bring them all back, man.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. I'll give you a little take, and then we're gonna pick these games. But I had these 12, and tell me if there's. I mean, I'm gonna tell you the teams I don't like, and we can talk about those and get off of it. I had Oregon is number 1. Alabama winning the SEC. That's because I think whether it's Texas or Texas A&M, I do think that Alabama can beat Texas and Texas A&M on neutral field. I think that is a given. I like the take on Texas A&M and Alabama. I just don't want to get in there. I'm with Lane Kiffin. There's no reason to there's no reason to test the waters out in the SEC championship.
Not if you're safely in the top 10.
Yeah, and give this committee a chance to bounce Georgia again.
And all of the brutal injuries we've taken this season, we don't need an extra game. We need extra time to mend.
Right.
We'll get 3 weeks if we beat Umass, beat Tech, and don't drop any. We'll sit there and we'll slide right in there with 3 weeks off.
Right. That'd be awesome.
And may even, and guys, they can just go kill each other. It could possibly slide into a home game.
Good.
I mean, we could talk about that too. I have some scenarios where we get a home game.
There's a lot that can happen.
So Texas at 5, because I think Ohio State's been there, but I think Texas then slides into the best team outside of the SEC that we get in. Ohio State at 6, Penn State 7, Ole Miss 8, Georgia 9, Tennessee 10. Because I don't have Notre Dame in this, guys. I don't buy Notre Dame. There's no way in hell I have Notre Dame in this 12. You can't not join a conference and play this podunk schedule and then go lose to Northern Illinois and expect to be in here.
How do you get to pick and choose only ACC teams when you make your schedule? Now, I know they make the ADs make the schedule. But man, like, how can they be rewarded for picking the easiest possible schedule? And see, there we go again. Pick 12 cupcakes.
Yeah.
Let's play UL Monroe. Let's play Tennessee Tech. Let's play,
dude, sign me up for independent
Delaware
next week.
State. North Dakota A&M. Let's play all those guys. Let's just no SEC teams. Just play 12 crappy teams. Go independent. That's right. Play whoever the crap we want and go undefeated every year and get rewarded for it and make the playoff.
Our sports our college sports at University of Georgia, man, we take a huge step up. You let me go pick who I want to play in basketball, in baseball,
Yeah.
in in equestrian, and anything we do, man. Let me just go. We can make ourselves look real good. Now, maybe we don't have any conference championships but guess what we can always do? Just like Notre Dame, we don't play no conference championships. You can't.
That's right.
Like you can't count that against us. Yeah, we
Can't
can.
lose games you don't play.
Yeah, we can though. So I got Tennessee, Indiana in there at 11, just because of the fact that we are in this week's. I give them 10-0, at 11. Then I got Colorado at 12th. Here's the scenario. So how does Georgia get to a home game, right? So we beat UMass and we beat UMass and we beat Tech, and we're sitting there with 3 weeks. That's our ideal look, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as I care, let everybody else take care of business.
Yep.
Let Bama beat Auburn. Let Texas, whatever. Texas, A&M, you guys kill each other. You're playing Alabama no matter what.
Yep.
Do whatever you got to do. I like to see the upset because I'd like to prove that everybody that Texas has, once again, has the most cupcake schedule. Besides, I would say, I think you look at Texas. I think you look at Texas in the SEC and look at Indiana in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But how do they get a home game? So here's my thing. Let's look at their bracket. So you look at. So let's take BYU, right? BYU, let's just say BYU gets to the Big 12 championship. First off, who do we think is going to play for the Big 12 championship?
Colorado.
There's no conference. There's no conferences, right? There's no East and West, right?
No division. Yeah, Colorado, BYU.
So we're thinking BYU, Colorado play for the Big 12.
Arizona State's trying to slide in there, man. They might. I don't know. There's 3 of them sitting right there.
So my thing is no matter what, BYU or Colorado is not going to get. They're not going to get that 4th spot because they're not going to be ranked high enough unless Boise loses, and I don't see Boise losing. Boise's flirted with losing. I just don't see it happening. I mean, if it does, it'll shock the world. So I think we can guarantee either Colorado or BYU is probably going to be there at 12, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at who they have at 11. 11, they have Georgia. I think Georgia, we just said it, Georgia stays at 11. Let's just say they stay at 11. Right now, we're going to talk about the rest of them, but we beat UMass, we beat Tech. As far as anything, if anything happens in front of us that is different, we just move up. But for now, we can say we're comfortably in at 11. Here's where it gets different. 10, Ole Miss. Ole Miss has to beat Florida on the road this week, and they also have to go and play the Egg Bowl against Mississippi State. That game is always crazy.
That's not.
That game is always crazy, guys.
That Ole Miss Florida game is going to be fun.
Mississippi State's been improving.
Who do you think has the best chance to beat Ole Miss out of those 2 teams?
Florida.
I think Florida.
Right. So let's say Florida. This is one of the ways. So Florida gets Ole Miss this weekend. That gets Georgia another. And it's possible. We're not just talking about like bullcrap scenarios. Florida's looked good the past 3 games, right? Even against Georgia. Even against Georgia with a 3rd-string quarterback. They look really good. Defense is much better.
back.
Lagway's back, and they're getting the swamp, man.
Future Heisman candidate.
So let's kick Ole Miss out. That moves Georgia to 10, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at 9. Alabama, they got to play Oklahoma on the road this weekend, and they got to play at home against Auburn. I mean,
I don't care what Brent Venables trots out there on that field, man. You can go to Norman and lose. Easy. This is what I'm thinking, guys. This is a very emotional game this weekend for Oklahoma. I don't know if you guys heard, but Brent Venables' wife, her cancer's back, relapsed. This is very emotional for Venables, man. I think a lot of this team might play for Venables this weekend, and you never know, man. I mean, the Oklahoma defense is always real, in my opinion. It's just always, is the offense going to do enough, right? I'm not saying Alabama loses against Oklahoma, but I am saying, is there a chance that Hugh Freeze is like, look, if I got one in me, or if Venables says I got one in me, one of those games Alabama loses. Now, remember this. In order, if that happens, we just volunteer for the SEC championship. Remember that. Okay. Yeah.
So let's say it doesn't happen. Let's just keep Alabama there. Okay, let's say they beat both. They go to the SC championship. But I'm going to tell you where it comes back on Alabama, because if they lose the SC championship, then that's where we step in. Let's say we stay there. We stay at 10, right? 8. Notre Dame has Army this weekend, undefeated Army.
Go
They also
Black.
have
Go Army.
USC, who's looked a little bit better with their new quarterback, right? Let's say Army beats Notre Dame. There goes Notre Dame. If Notre Dame loses another game, they're out. And if they're not out, this thing's rigged. So they're out.
Uniforms?
Who, Army?
Yeah.
I have not.
They got the spades on their helmet, and they've got bone on their shirt right here. It's bad.
Not enough for me. I'm. If any person does not want to see Notre Dame in this playoff, it is I. So I am Army through and through.
Yeah,
like
let's do it.
Through and through. If I got any camouflage, I'll be wearing it on Saturday. So
yeah, dude.
Let's say they're out, right? So Georgia, with Bama still there, Georgia moves up to 9, right? Okay. So then you have who's sitting at 7 right now? Indiana. I think Indiana loses to Ohio State this weekend. I think that puts at least Indiana below Georgia, if not out.
If they lose by double digits, they're out. They got to be.
That moves Georgia to what? 8? Then we got 6, right? Where are we at with 6? We got Penn State. Penn State will probably win out. What do you think? I mean, I haven't looked at Penn State's schedule, but let's just say they win out. Fine. So we're still at 8. 5 will not lose. So that's 8 for us, right? Guess what, guys? 8 gets a home game.
Yeah.
8 gets a home game versus whoever 9 is.
Nice.
So I mean, and those are not scenarios that are just far fetched. They're not just like so outlandish. I mean, remember we gave Alabama what we think will happen. But guess what? We could be 7th, because if Alabama goes to the SEC championship and loses, they get one of those things that we're worried about. They get their 3rd loss, and we gotta figure out, like,
Penn State's playing Minnesota. They could lose.
They could.
Minnesota,
I think Georgia still has a great chance to get a home game. If you give me a home game in Athens, man, I really don't care who comes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, man. Let's hop in, man. Let's pick these games. So we are in week 13, man. 1 week before Thanksgiving week, 1 week before rivalry week. So let me actually pull this up over here so my screen isn't so blurry. Please hold your applause to the end. What's going on here? Pick these games. Come back in now. All right. So here we go. Week 13. We've already had some games this week, man. We had some Tuesday night fun last night. I heard somebody got robbed. I think it was who played last night. All I know it was Central Michigan and Western Michigan, right?
Yeah.
And there was apparently a bogus hold on a kickoff that brought everything back, and kind of everybody said once again Central got robbed, and here we are. So week 13. Let's hop right in, man. I mean, I think we all know this, but let's do it. So Miami, 12 o'clock, ESPN, Wake Forest. Wake Forest is 4-6. Miami, obviously 9-1. Miami's got a 24. He's got 24 by Vegas in this one. Richman, who you got?
Miami.
Wake Forest, Demon Deacons. Who you got, Fish?
I would love to see Wake Forest get him, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Miami's next loss is Florida State. No, not Florida State, but who was their last game? Who do they play?
They have, I'll track over for you. Miami has Wake and Syracuse. 7-3 Syracuse.
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 Where is that game?
That's at the Carrier Dome.
Ooh.
Wow.
I like Fran Brown, man. He's had some good
That's
wins.
not a cakewalk. That's not. But yeah, Miami gets the dub this weekend. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're good. 3:30 ABC. Sorry, 3:30 CBS. Minnesota coming in 6-4, 4-3 in the Big Ten. Penn State. This is an away game. This is a 3:30 game on CBS. Penn State's 12.5 points favorites. Fish, who you got in this game?
Minnesota.
Ooh, man,
I'm gonna take Minnesota, and I'm gonna tell you why. There's a lot of pressure underlying Penn State right now because they're on the crux of possibly getting into the playoffs, and they always, mess up.
Yeah.
They always drop the big game. So all of a sudden, this is a big game for them.
Yep.
Yeah. This is the last test for Penn State because, I haven't looked at it, but if for some reason Indiana beats, if Indiana beats Ohio State, Indiana's in the Big Ten championship. I think Penn State's out, right?
Then Ohio's in.
Well, of course, no, because Ohio State plays Indiana, so that means Ohio State would have had to lose to Indiana.
It's gonna be an Oregon-Ohio State rematch, unless Indiana shocks the world.
Unless Indiana shocks the world, right?
Yep.
So there's no way Penn State can get in. Is that what we're saying?
I don't think so.
So essentially, unless Penn State just literally lays an egg, they're in some part of the playoff.
Think even if Minnesota beats them?
No, I'm just saying if they win out, they're in.
Oh, if they win out,
they're like us. They win out, they're in.
Yeah, because they get to skirt the. I mean, they can go back and look at it all they want to and get pissed off, but the best thing that could have done for them is to lose to Ohio State because they don't have to play on that Big Ten championship. Because I think if Penn State loses late to an Oregon, then you start looking at teams like Indiana and Ohio State with one loss that are like, you got to go, well, who's the best team, right? And and SEC teams come into play. So, I agree. I like Minnesota, but I do think Penn State gets it done, man. This is just a game that, here's my thing. The only way I see this being a Minnesota win, I do know temperatures this Saturday up north are going to be treacherous. This 12 o'clock kickoff for Ohio State and Indiana is going to be crazy. Like, it's supposed to be snow this weekend up north on Saturday, so there are going to be some crazy games up north. So I would say it might get down to, whoever at the end of the day, whoever puts the most together as far as, the snow preparedness, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I still think that Penn State pulls it off, but I think it's closer than people. I think it's closer than people think.
Not so fast.
Yeah, not so fast. But I think Penn State wins it. But I like the Minnesota pick, obviously. 3:30 Fox, Kansas, number 16 Colorado. Kansas is can you call Kansas a hot team? They're a healthy team now. That's one thing. But 4-6, obviously went in. Big win against BYU last week. Could they knock out Colorado? They just dented BYU's hopes. Can they the next week? Can they go dent Colorado's hopes? This is in Kansas. Right now, Colorado, even as of this morning when I was writing this out, Colorado was 2.5. They just gave Colorado another half. So Colorado's up to 3. That's it.
Wow.
Who you got in this one, Richman?
I'm going to take Colorado.
Colorado. Yeah, you don't think Kansas has one more in them?
I don't think so.
You hope so, at least. Fish, who you got?
I want Colorado, but it being in Kansas and is probably the only thing that Colorado has going against them right now. They're hot, like they're on fire. They're not going to go in there and lay an egg. And Kansas is hot too. And a lot of people had Kansas winning the Big 12 at the beginning of the year.
Right.
So it's not like they're slouches. They're going to come, they're going to show up, they're going to play, they're going to be hyped. The atmosphere is going to be nuts. And Colorado is going to have to play a really good game to get that W, but I think they do it.
Wow. Guys, just let you know, make a little feel-good story right here. So just ended the live on TikTok and 360 viewers on TikTok tonight.
Nice.
360. TikTok might be the new move, man. Anyways,
put ourselves out there. That'll get us out there, man, for sure.
360 viewers. All right, so 4:15 SEC Network. Mississippi State coming in with a 2-8 record versus Missouri. Missouri is just trying to obviously now continue to cling to a really good bowl game.
How did they lose and not fall out of the top 25?
Right.
What?
They don't. They watch the games, man.
No,
They watch the
they
games.
don't.
I think they all take a nap. I think they get together, they go
Yeah.
take a nap, and then somebody wakes them up when it's time to figure stuff out, dude.
Hey! It's time.
Hey,
to,
I'm
it's
gonna
time
take State because
Ooh,
they're due.
upset
Let
alert.
They're playing
Get
so
'em.
many people tough.
If State wins this,
Or
look
they've
out,
been
Ole Miss.
improving.
Look out, Egg Bowl.
No kidding, man. They're going to be hype. Oh my god.
Mizzou 7.5 right now. That's it. That's it.
Mizzou is
You got State. You got State, Richmond.
I'm taking State.
Whew.
They've improved. I mean, they played everybody tough, and they've continued to improve. They're due one.
Missouri prints shirts for being bowl eligible. We're different. They're
Who?
like Missouri.
Who?
Missouri. During the interview after the one game they won their
Branson.
6th win, yeah, he had on a shirt that said bowl bound, like freshly printed that they had
Remember-
made in case they won.
You remember the bowl shirts, man? I used to buy those when back when we would be
Yeah.
like, we're just wanting to make the Sugar Bowl, guys.
Woo!
We're trying to get into the Sugar Bowl with 2
Oh.
losses.
Don't let
Playing
us go
West
to the
Virginia.
Citrus Bowl. Like
Yeah,
that's
man.
it. Woo.
Hey, I went to the
That's big
Outback
time.
Bowl in Tampa
There you go.
That's the big time.
when Bobo was quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We beat the crap out of Wisconsin, and I was sitting in the middle of a bunch of Wisconsin people, and they were going, "Gosh darn, our football team's no good." And then at halftime, they were like, "Oh, well, our band's better than your band," and I was like, "They sure are."
Holy moly.
Shoot, them's fighting words, man. Them redcoats are awesome.
Them's fighting words, man. I got Colorado big in this one, man. I think Colorado, obviously I have them as my Big 12 champion. So Colorado obviously takes care of business in this one. So BYU, number 14 BYU. This is a really good game. This is a game to watch right here because this can possibly tell whether BYU plays Colorado for the Big 12 championship or Arizona State does. But BYU goes to Arizona State. It's a 3:30 game. I feel like those 10-15 games are the ones that have been getting the upsets. I wish this was a 10-15 game because I
Me
think
too.
BYU
I'll
might
lose
lose
on
another
Arizona
one.
State's record because I hadn't kept up with them.
Who's that?
Arizona State.
Arizona State's 8-2 right now.
Sun
5-2 in the Big
Devils.
12.
Wow.
So if they get BYU, they're in.
And
They're in.
BYU's kind of stumbling a little bit.
Can I tell you another thing? Right now, Vegas has Arizona State and gives them 3 points. Arizona
Yeah,
State
I'm taking State.
at home.
Yeah.
At home.
Oh yeah, in the desert.
You think BYU's down and out right now? You're thinking Arizona State,
I think that
Colorado for the Big 12.
I think their luck's run out.
Who you got, Fish?
Oh, Arizona State all day.
Man, I do think BYU will be pissed because they lost and they're out. They know
I
they
think they're
can't
soft.
lose. I think they are, but I think they know they can't lose.
Yeah.
This will be crazy. I like the coach at Arizona State. I forget his name, but I'm going to go with you guys on this. This is going to be my upset pick, even though I might have one more upset. But this is an upset pick for me as well. Arizona State, and I think they cover. I think they cover. I think it's more than 3.
Nice.
It could get weird. It could get weird, man. It could really get weird.
Can we guess your next upset?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Fish, you go first.
Oh man.
Who's he gonna pick for an upset?
Auburn over A&M.
Nah, he's gonna pick the Gators.
You got it,
Oh.
man. That's my next upset, man.
I'd pick
I
that
got
too.
Florida and Lagway, man. I got Ole Miss stumbling in. I mean, the swamp. Let's pick the game, man. I mean, I'll skip this game I was going to do. Florida.
Is it a night game?
Noon kickoff in the swamp. Senior day for the Florida guys.
Yeah.
Ole Miss comes in. They got to win out. Florida knows they don't have anything else left, man. They have nothing else left. For Florida, this is a poop on your parade game. This gets them. I mean, I think they're going to beat FSU. Obviously, that's going to get them bowl eligible.
There's no way they're looking ahead at a 1-9 team.
Right. So this, in my opinion, this is Florida's. Depending on who they get in the bowl, I think they're going to go They're probably going to play in the Music City Bowl. I see Florida possibly playing like a Vandy or something, which would be a pretty decent game. But I got Florida. I got Florida beating Ole Miss, man. And I think it's because Florida's defense has looked a lot better, and they had nothing to lose, man. So Napier's going to have these boys. He's going to have them in Lagway playing really well. Who you got, Richmond?
Are good.
I'm with you, man. I'm taking Florida.
Florida's back, baby. Just so you know, the Ole Miss line has dropped since this morning. It was 14, and it's now 10.5.
Dang.
Who you got, Fish?
Oh, Florida. I think this is one of those. This is one of those games where Lane Kiffin will come in and just wet the bed. It feels like it. It feels like it could be, and not because I'm salty, because I like Lane Kiffin. You know, I'm not upset that he beat us. I'm not upset that we lost to him. I mean, I am that we lost, but not because it was Lane Kiffin. You know, and I just think he has tendencies, and I'm getting vibes this week that, you know, as good as his team is, I don't know. I think this is one of those games where they could easily drop it.
So this is the game where you find out, are the mercenaries riding for the brand, or are they just here for the money?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I've seen this happen. I've seen this Florida team make Kentucky look absolutely horrible, and I've seen this Ole Miss team not show up for Kentucky. So if we think it can't happen, it can happen. I will tell you what needs to happen, though. You're going to have to stop the run. They're going to have to stop this Bo kid, and Lagway's going to be. He's going to be. He's a very accurate quarter. This is a different look. I like Florida, and I think Florida is going to have. This is next year conversation, but I think Florida is going to have a really good team next year, man.
I do too.
I think they're going to be close to trying to get back. I mean, I hate saying that because I thought Napier would be fired by now, but I mean, I don't know. I think Florida's going to be really good
down there. He'll be a Heisman candidate. I'm not saying a Heisman finalist. I'm saying he'll be a Heisman candidate preseason for sure.
I think he has a 1-2 duo, man. I think this Bo kid, this freshman, I mean, I think he's he looks good, man. He looks real good. So we can get these in, man. 7:30, man. Oklahoma 5-5. The tricky part about this game is they're 1-5 in the SEC, right? Alabama coming into Oklahoma. Obviously, Venable's team's going to be playing with a heavy heart. Alabama comes in 13.5. I want to pick Oklahoma in this, guys, but I'm going to take Alabama in this game. I don't think Oklahoma's offense can do anything with Alabama's defense in this game. I think Womack will have them boys ready. I think Alabama wins this game. Who you got, Fish?
Yeah. Ugh. Bama.
Yeah, I want it, but I just don't think it's feasible. I don't think Oklahoma has enough on offense.
If I had to hitch my horse to an upset, this wouldn't be the one.
Right. What about you, Richman?
Yeah, I got Bama.
Bama. 7:00. Number 19, Army. Number 6, Notre Dame and South Bend. Man, this is going to be a great game, dude. I am going to have all camouflage on. But Notre Dame's getting 15, man. And I'll be honest with you, if I'm a betting man, I'm taking that bet, bro. I'm definitely taking the under on that. Because even if Notre Dame wins, I don't think they're going to beat Army by 15. Army controls the ball way too much for you to be able to beat them by, I mean, unless you're just really.
I think Army's that much better than Navy?
I think Army is deadly because they've added so many variations of the pass to their offense as well. If you look at Army, they're no longer that flex bone wing T offense. I mean, they got spread formations, they got wing T. They'll line up under center, they'll line up shotgun, they'll line up veer, they'll line up and run straight shotgun plays on you. They have a very versatile offense. This is a very different look for Army. I don't think. I mean, and I'm not just trying to call all the upsets, but I'll let you guys pick it. But Army for me wins this game, and I definitely think that Notre Dame is not. I just think Notre Dame can't beat any good team this year. I think they've played a lot of just weak teams. A&M, you got A&M the first game of the year, man. I mean, dang. I mean, you ain't even got A&M. They ain't got half their plays on the field yet. Their quarterback, I mean, their coach was a half year behind.
That was a Connor Wigman led Texas A&M team, though. Yeah. So, and we now know that Connor Wigman is no bueno.
Right.
So, you know,
Right.
what did he get? What did he play like a few couple of series last week and threw an interception and had a 3 and out or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Right. Who you got, Fish? Since you're talking about who you got, Army, you got Notre Dame.
I think Notre Dame. I think USC is going to be the team that knocks Notre Dame out of the playoff. I don't think Army, despite them being undefeated and all the hype and everything, and I just don't see it happening, man. I don't know. Like I thought Navy was going to give Notre Dame a way better game than they did, and it turned out they weren't even supposed to be on the same field.
Yeah.
So, and you know, so I mean, I don't know. I hope they do. I hope. Here's hoping, but I'm going Notre Dame.
Who you got, Richman?
I'm going to take the Bastards of Bastogne.
Man, well, man, this it's going to be a much, but I just worry for Notre Dame about how much Army will possess the ball. Last 2 games before our game, 7:30 ESPN, Auburn, Texas A&M. Auburn coming in 4-6 once again, like Oklahoma, 1-5 in the SEC. Texas A&M, everything to lose. Texas A&M, are they looking ahead to Texas? That's the big thing. Auburn's capable. If Auburn can just put a complete game together, it's kind of like we're talking about Georgia here. I'm not saying Auburn's going to win the SEC, but they can put a complete game together at home. The crowd will be pumped. For Auburn, this is their bowl game.
If Peyton Thorne can stay his butt on the bench with a clipboard in his hand and a headset on, then Auburn might have a chance. But if he's the starter, it's over.
He'll be the starter. But my thing is this. I said that wrong. This won't be their Super Bowl, but this is their last home game of the year. So for the fans, this is their bowl game, right? This is their big one. Their fans are going to be loud. This is probably why Texas A&M is only getting 2.5 points on it. I mean, for me, I think Texas A&M is capable of probably beating them by 17, 14, 17 because of that, what you said, Fish. I'll let you guys hack at it. Fish, who you got? Texas A&M Auburn?
This is the upset that I would hitch my wagon to.
Okay.
Because I listen to a radio show every afternoon, the Bill Shank Show. He covers Georgia sports. He's pretty good. His show is actually pretty good. Anyway, they played a clip from Mike Elko press conference, I guess, earlier in the week or yesterday. I don't know when it was, but I heard it today. He straight up said, "We are laser focused on Texas." Auburn.
Yeah. I saw this.
I think they're looking ahead. I think it's so close they can't wait. I mean, and I think Auburn.
Hugh Freeze could use the good news.
Yeah. Job security, man.
Because I'm gonna tell you, I not call the Alabama upset. If I'm calling out of those 2 games, it's A&M because I think Alabama's going to take them to the woodshed in Tuscaloosa. Like that's going to be personal right there for DeBoer. Because they've told DeBoer. I mean, Georgia's one thing, but they've told DeBoer, you don't lose the Iron Bowl, bro. Like that was probably in the interview question.
Yeah.
You understand what is your most important game on the schedule? Because if you don't answer this right, it's a possibility we don't hire you.
I'm sure it was a job interview question. I'm sure it was.
Right. Right. Who you got, Richman?
Tell you what, A&M was overlooking Notre Dame. They were looking to Texas the first game of the season. So,
that's really the game that they always talk about. It always comes back to that when you're talking. I have a fan, a fan that I work with, his wife, and he talked about Texas week 1, week 2, week 3. When I was asking him about Notre Dame and everything else, the quarterback situation and whatnot, it always comes back to Texas. Even the fans are looking at it.
It could definitely be a trap game, but I'm going to go with A&M. I think Auburn will find a way to lose it.
Yeah, I got A&M in this one. I just don't think, man. I don't think Auburn can get it done, man. Hugh will find a way. But maybe it's not Hugh. I think Peyton Thorne will find a way. Hugh will call the play or something. It might be close. He will call a play, and Peyton Thorne will run a different one, and they'll lose.
I'm blowing up the chat when Auburn gets the W Saturday. So y'all be ready.
Okay.
You're not going to hear the end of
it. Number 2, Ohio State. Indiana number 5. This is at noon. This is the big noon kickoff. Ohio State is pleading with people and going, we have lights that we like to use at night, and we can't show these recruits any of the lights. But it doesn't matter because the big noon kickoff doesn't give a rips. I have no idea why they do this crap either. Now, they probably will like playing this game at noon, because if they were to play it at 7:30 on Saturday, it's probably going to be like 12 and snow. So it's probably a good thing they're playing at noon. Right now, though, Ohio State is going in. This might get a little skinnier, but going in at 13.5 against Indiana. Richman, who you got?
I got Ohio.
Heck yeah.
Who you got, Fish?
Man, Ohio State, 52-7.
Ooh. I got Ohio State in this one. I think they cover. I think it's 17 points, guys. 17 points gets Indiana knocked out. I think 17 or above gets them knocked out. So I guess I'm saying Ohio 17, Indiana 0.
There you go. I mean, whatever.
Or something like that. And then the last game of the night, UMass, Georgia. Home game, Georgia. Obviously, now I'm finding out it's a senior night. A UMass game. A game where we want to see what? We want to see us come out. We want to see us put some points on the board early. Get this game in the books. Get
over
some
before halftime.
Players rested. Get some players some playing time. And hopefully then start looking ahead to Georgia Tech. Because it's a short week for us next week. It's only a day, but a day is a lot, right? Fish, who you got this game? UMass, Georgia. I guess better yet, I think I know who you got winning. Let's talk about this. What do you think? What do you think the key element of the game is that you want to see happen and repeat itself for this game? And who you
come out fast, come out swinging, and I don't care if it's UMass. Who cares? Come out and punch them in the mouth. 21-0 by the end of the first quarter. I mean, why not?
Yeah. I don't think about establishing the run or anything with UMass either. I think later on you can run the ball. I just think we just sling it, man. Just sling it and get the points on the board.
Just let Arian and Nitro run posts, deep post or streaks, and just throw it up.
At least
is Arian going to catch it? Okay, too soon.
Yeah, he'll catch 50% of them. Throw him 4, he'll catch 2. That's 14-0.
Rich man, what? I mean, I think we know who you got winning, but what do you think?
Dude, I'm
big
looking
thing you want to see.
I'm looking 42-0.
Zip.
Nice.
UMass doesn't score.
We need a shutout. We need to get a shutout, and we need to throw. We just need to throw numbers all over that board.
Yeah,
Got to dominate. Got to dominate.
Don't take the starters out too early. And I'm not saying. I mean, we'll be pissed if we don't got the score where we want it in the first half. But what I will tell you is I don't know if 28 or 21 and things like that, 21-3 or 28, 28-3 or something like that. I don't take them out yet. This committee is looking for reasons to come at SEC teams, and we don't want to give them that against UMass.
They are.
They're looking for it, man. We're going to see, man, because we shouldn't move anywhere. Probably next week's show will be earlier on with Thanksgiving coming around the corner, and also we play a day earlier. So probably looking at an early week next week. So make sure you guys join us for next week as we look at previewing Georgia Tech. It'll be week 14, rivalry week. And then hopefully we're coming out with a victory, and then we're getting into some playoff talk. We'll start talking about recruiting. Will be heating up. Really, we'll have commitments coming soon. We'll have early signing coming soon. So a lot happens between the end of the season and when that bowl game happens. So more than likely you'll see some of these guys on campus for the 20th. What was that, Fish?
Said I'm low key excited about the coming up transfer portal.
Yeah. Hopefully not in a bad way for us, but
no, but it's always interesting. It's always interesting. And this year it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
It's not going to get better.
It's like a hole in the boat, man.
Yeah.
If you don't patch it, man, it's gonna sink at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be regulated eventually, but not anytime soon.
I agree, man. Hey, it's been fun tonight, guys. If you haven't already done so, make sure you join. Make sure you tell your friends. We're on YouTube, Dogs Down South, trying to get to 1,000 followers. TikTok tonight, 362 views tonight on TikTok. Incredible. If you haven't done so, go to Dogs Down South on TikTok. And we start adding this. I got to figure out how to pipe in some of these questions on the screen. We'll figure it out, though. I'll just get a little more tech savvy. And also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you go follow, like the page, get us to 1,000 followers on YouTube. Hey guys, this is going to be a really good weekend. we may see some upsets this weekend. I hope we see some upsets.
Hope we do too.
That's what makes college football what it is, man.
Yeah. This committee's living and dying off of upsets right now because they won't know, because they watch the games, but they won't know what happens.
No, they don't.
Dude,
They watch college football final on Sunday morning.
And then they have the meeting.
Yeah. And then they're like, all right, guys, let's go. No, they have it on during the meeting. No, my bad. They don't even, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. They don't even watch it on Sunday morning. They wait till Tuesday morning when they go in with coffee and they're all sitting there stopping and playing. Stop, play, stop, play, stop, play. What did Matt Berry just say? Whoa. What Joe Galloway just say about Texas? What did he say?
Yeah. Dude, I love seeing Galloway and Booger McFarland needs to stay in the NFL, bro. He's obviously checked out. Fighting for Indiana.
Man, that dude is crazy.
Yeah, he's fighting. He ain't winning this battle. I'll tell you one thing. You better be glad Kirk Herbstreit's not on that program anymore, because Booger McFarland would have less hair than he already has.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So anyways, all right, boys. Well, enjoyed it as always for myself. Richman, Fish, you guys have a great week. Go Dogs beat UMass, and maybe we see some upsets, man. But look forward to next week, Thanksgiving week, previewing Georgia Tech, hopefully with a W, obviously, from UMass. But hey, guys, let's have a great weekend. And as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs, baby.